Let's just get down to Eileen's question here. And Eileen, I just hope that I pronounce your name right. And your question is how to get a better deal to buy a studio service apartment for investment. That's her question.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by better deal, but if you're buying a studio apartment for investment, one thing is for sure, it is a lower risk because you're buying something smaller, and it's easier to rent it out, no matter where the location. And most of the time, of course, the studio will attract more of the expatriate market. The locals are not so used to studio units, but I've seen that the new generations are beginning to pick up on that. And so if you can't rent it out to expatriate, you can always fall back on the local market. You target the younger generations, the executives, where they don't mind with just a one-room thing. Yeah.
But when you say when she's saying a better deal, I'm probably thinking like how you can knock the price down from the property developer or the existing owner, I suppose.
But I think you can safely say that you can be buying something that is cheaper as compared to the bigger units, because the bigger units the developers tend to sell it slightly higher, and so on per square foot basis, I think it will most of the time be cheaper than the bigger units.
And also, but it also depends where it is located and the facilities that come along with that development, isn't it?
That's right.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Eileen. And let's just move back to the price of when you're negotiating a deal. How can a seller actually hold up the asking price without giving in too much?
Well, to make it simple, he offers you can just hold on to the price and not give in to any offers that comes in. If the offers are not up to his expectations, or if he's not happy with the offer. But again, that he has to analyze his situation. What kind of situation he is in now. If he's in need to cash out or cut losses, then of course he needs to reconsider the kind of offers that comes in. But then if he's not in this kind of position, then he can hold on and wait for better offers that comes in, or maybe he would like to defer slightly later to sell the property so that he can get a better offer. So long as he can, some people will just want to hold on to the prices until the offers that comes in meets their investment objective. Yeah.
As a real estate agent, then William, let's say for example the seller is in a desperate circumstances, and he wants to sell it lower than market price. Would you advise him otherwise, based on how it would probably devalue the rest of the properties around that area as well?
Well, if you say lower than market price, it depends on the market situation. If you are in a soft market or in a bad market where prices are on a downtrend, you may have to, and if you want to sell at that time, during that kind of market situation, you may just have to sell below the market rate, because the prices, price trends are going downwards. And so your next offer that comes in will probably be lower. And if you don't sell now, the following offer that comes in will definitely be lower.
Okay, we still have a couple of more questions. We'll get down to that in a little bit. As a buyer, are there any tricks up your sleeves that we could use to knock the price lower then?
Again, you have to look at the kind of situation that you're in, what kind of market you are in. If it's on a soft market, then you can try to maybe give an offer, and then see how the seller reacts to it. If the seller is steaming away with your offer, then you can know that your low offer or your low down offer is actually insulting him.
Okay,
yeah.
But sometimes they also say, if you walk into a property that you want to buy and you're really excited because everything looks perfect, don't show so much excitement. Is that true as well?
Well, that's part of the negotiation tactic, if you like. Not necessarily so, because nowadays both parties, buyers and sellers, are very knowledgeable about the market rates and all that. So whether you show your faces or not, you show your interest or not, may not make a lot of difference actually. They all know the market rates already.
All right, let's take a look at some of these questions. I'm just going through it right now. It could be hitting a brick wall, but let's find out. This one here. Which specific new areas in KL and PJ do you recommend for shop lot investment in the range of 1 to 2 million? And that comes from Mr. Tan.
Shop lot investment 1 to 2 million. For shop lot, I think you have to look at the commercial locations where the important thing now, the pulling factor. I think the biggest pulling factor nowadays are the shopping complexes. So if your shop lots are near shopping complexes or even near commercial buildings or commercial office buildings where you have big crowds of office people, those are the kind of locations that has a pull factor where they will bring in the traffic. Those are the kind of locations that you should be looking at.
In PJ, you would probably say Jaya 33, Jaya 1.
Yes, Jaya 33, Jaya 1, then all those places, locations where you have shopping complexes.
And I think in the KL region, you look somewhere like Mont Kiara, maybe Solaris, that area around there.
KL maybe near more to what do you call something that's near to like Mid Valley, those kind of locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question, Mr. Tan. Happy shopping for that shop lots. We've got Vikram here. It says how to market land for bungalows. I'm not too sure about that one.
I think he was referring to bungalow lots where
Okay.
you have a piece of land and you don't have a building on top of it. It's what do you call designed for a bungalow development, and so those are bungalow lots. Yeah. So how to sell those kind of land? I think a good property agent should be able to help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speak to one, Vikram. Thanks a lot for your question as well. And finally here, Yen says, I'm not too sure about this one, but how can I get my 2% earnest deposit back upon discovering TTD property is seriously faulty, or the property is faulty with the clause that comes from Yen? How does that work then?
Oh, that means you have already paid the earnest deposit, and all the earnest deposits paid are non-refundable. And if you want to change your mind, that means you have to abort the deal, and you may lose your what do you call the earnest deposit.
Okay, right. I just move back to what we have here is let's say, for example, there's a property that I really want to get, but there's a counter offer. How can I actually steal the deal back without even going overboard, William?
If you are talking about counter offer, you mean there's another buyer that comes into the picture, and so you are competing with another buyer. If you are really interested in that property, I would suggest that you make a quick action. Most of the time, real estate agents, when they have a few prospective buyers, they will respond to the one who would take a fast action. That means not just talk, but they really are ready to pay, make the money, make the offer, and pay the earnest deposit. So if you are really interested, don't delay anymore. If there's someone else, some other buyers already in the picture, so just make an offer and pay your earnest deposit.
And finally, William, being a very experienced person, especially in negotiating, how can a real estate agent actually work to my benefit, whether I'm a seller or a buyer?
Oh, okay. A good real estate agent should be able to give you a bigger picture of the property. That means it's not just the product knowledge that he has. He should have a good insight of the bigger picture of the market itself. Then he may be able to give you information like what kind of amenities there are around there, what's the future or potential of that location, if there are any further amenities that will be coming in later on over the years, or some other highway access and all that. So that would be your benefit, even if you are a buyer.
What about a seller? How can that help, having a real estate agent to help? Does it actually expedite the sale? Does it get the best price for that property, having a real estate agent?
Yeah, of course. The one of their responsibility to sell the property at the highest price possible within that short period of time. So that would give the seller the benefits of selling at a high price in shortest time possible, and at the same time, it helps to do away with all the hassle. That means the seller don't have to go through all the hassle of dealing with all the buyers, and using a property agent, real estate agent, to sell the property will help give a buffer, to the seller, whereby the seller don't have to deal directly with the buyers, and therefore all these pressures are taken away from him.